Hello viewers, I am Muhammad Shafiuddin. In this tutorial, I will demonstrate how to develop an ASP.NET Core Web API with using .NET version 10 integrated with SQL Server. I will cover the implementation of CRUD operations and use OpenAPI, Swagger, and Postman for API testing and documentation. As you can see on the screen, this is the diagram. This is a class diagram with the stereotypes for the project I will be demonstrating in this video. At the top is a configuration file, app settings.json. So I'm going to set database SQL Server connections to create the database in this file. Then there's going to be a program.cs file. This is the main file entry point for the uh, classes or our application. Um, and there is application DB context that's registered. It will register the connection to the database in program.cs file, and it maps to employee details, a class. Uh, it maps all the fields in this class. As you can see, employee details will have ID, first name, last name, and email. Just for the demonstration purpose, uh, I have just created these properties. And then there's going to be a add employee DTO and update employee DTO class. Uh, these classes will be used in employees controller class while creating the REST endpoints for get, post, put, and delete. But these classes I will be calling while I'm creating the endpoint for put method to update, and like you, like the name suggests, for update employee to update the employee, and to post, add employee DTO to post the to for post endpoint. The reason I'm creating these classes separately rather directly accessing the employee details class for the fields, because we don't want to expose the fields direct to the user for security reasons. Then uh, there's a chances the hackers can manipulate these fields and perform some actions. So that's the reason uh, I'm using these DTO classes. DTO stands for data transfer uh, uh, objects. So this is a data transfer object, so that the fields are not exposed to the users directly. And now we need a couple things here. Need the uh, SQL Server Management Studio. You can download from here. But before this, you need to download the SQL Server. You can do that opening up your browser and type SQL Server download. And then once you type and search for it, you will get this Microsoft SQL Server downloads window here. So you open uh, Microsoft SQL Server downloads. Then you get this page. You scroll down. You have SQL Server as the time of this recording. The SQL Server 2025 Express is available. You just download this and follow the instruction for installation. Then, similarly, you click on this SSMS uh, link from the same search page, and then this will open. This page will open. Here you have a download SQL Server Management Studio 22 installer at the time of recording. So you click on this and download this installer and follow the instructions to download. Once the installation is complete, you will have SQL Server Management Studio, as you can see on the left side. And then you also need a Visual Studio. So you need to download the Visual Studio. Uh, you can search on the website or on the web browser and download this as well. So that's out of the way. And now let me show you how to create a new project. So click on the file on the left side top and click New Project. So this will open up an option to create a new project. So you have all the templates here. So you select the template according to your requirement. In this case, I'm demonstrating about ASP.NET Core Web API to create the RESTful Web APIs. So this is what I'm going to select. And if you're following me, you can also select this one, uh, ASP.NET Core Web API, and click Next. Over here, it is asking for the project name. You can name according to your requirement. So it's going to be employee database for this demonstration. Database. And this is the folder I will be saving my project at this location. So you can customize according to your uh, wish wherever you want to save this. Uh, and I'll just uh, leave everything else as default and click on Next. Over here, you can select any version at the time of recording. The .NET 10 is the latest version. And this doesn't have a Swagger by default. So in this project, I will demonstrate how to add a Swagger OpenAPI to your project. So I selected .NET 10 version here, and everything else I leave it as default. Make sure that you have checked for configure for HTTPS, enable OpenAPI support, and use controllers. And click on Create. So this will create a new project, as you can see on the screen. And if you look at this, it has only one solution, that is employee database. I see there is a spelling mistake. So let me fix this because it should be database. So I'm missing BA before SE. So let me right click on this and rename this database. So I renamed the project, and this is the one. So this is the database CS project file. So this file has a target framework. In this case, it is .NET 10, the version of the .NET framework. And also it has package reference to ASP.NET Core OpenAPI. And moving forward, when I install the packages, all the package references will be listed here in this CS proj file. Now, this is the dependency file. So this is a central location that lists all external resources required for the project to build and run. And then you have a properties file. This has the launch settings.json. And this is a system created directory within a project that stores configuration files and metadata required for building and running the applications. And its contents vary significantly depending on whether you are using the modern .NET Core platform or the legacy .NET framework. I mean, so this launch settings.json file holds profiles to run applications, such as the host details, your port number, and in this case, the port number is 7153. In your case, it could be different. So now next is the controller. So there is a weather forecast controller that came with creating this project. It created this class by default. So this has a list of like uh, weather forecasting data. So we are going to create the class over here uh, for REST endpoints. So the controller class that serves as the entry point for handling incoming HTTP requests. It acts as an intermediary. So it acts like an intermediary, or you can say like just like a traffic cop in the model view controller architecture, coordinating interactions between user input, application data, which is models class, and the user interface, the views class. So uh, I will show you while creating this project on the controller class. You will be able to see that. And then app settings JSON file. This is the primary configuration file used to store application settings in a structured JSON format. It replaces the older web.config or app.config files found in the legacy .NET framework, providing a more lightweight and cross-platform way to manage configurations. Uh, and then it has a employee database HTTP. This created by default. Uh, this has all the uh, endpoints listed here. You can send a request, and this will, since we have a weather forecast uh, already created in the controller, it will show the data, display the data from there. So it's throwing this error right here. This is because I need to start this class. Let me start this class and try again. So the class is started. Let me send this request again. As you can see, the data from weather forecast is populated here. You can also test this using OpenAPI. Let me show you from the browser. So over here, you type localhost 7153 OpenAPI v1.json. So this is where you get the weather forecast information here, and this is the endpoint that was listed in our uh, app settings right here. No, I'm sorry, it was in launch settings. So this is the local host, and this is the port that we were running. This is the port because I'm using HTTPS. But moving forward, I will show you how to add Swagger in here. The Swagger is is Swagger GUI. It is like it's more for me it's more user friendly because it has much more information. It will give you the endpoints, and also you can directly send the request using endpoints in the Postman, or you can just send the request directly in the Swagger. You will see that when I create a Swagger endpoint in this demonstration. So right now we need to add some dependencies. So for that, let me stop the program and right click on the dependencies. So right clicking on the dependencies and then go to manage NUGET packages, click on that. And we need like a few dependencies, about 4. So let me add the entity framework core, entity framework core. It's not listing. Oh, I need to go to the browse right here. Sorry, I need to go to the browse and then look for entity core framework core. This is the one. Click install. Apply. Accept. That's finished. Now the next need a entity framework core design. Maybe I need to entity framework design. So this is where you get so this is the one. So you have to type it like this, entity framework design. So need to install this one. Click on install, apply, and accept. So this is finished. And now the next one is SQL Server. Since we are connecting to SQL Server, so this is the SQL Server, Microsoft Entity Framework Core.SqlServer. Click on install, apply, accept. After this, we need a Microsoft Framework Tools. Entity Framework Tools. So this is the one, Microsoft Entity Framework Tools. Need to install this one. Click apply and accept. For Swagger, I need a couple dependencies as well. So I'm going to install right now SwaggerGen. Type SwaggerGen. So maybe one word. It's not here. Oh, the SwaggerGen. Okay, this is the one. Swashbuckle.AspNetCore.Design. Swagger.AspNetCore.SwaggerGen. Install this one, apply, and accept. The next one is Swagger UI. So this is the one, Swashbuckle.AspNetCore.SwaggerUI. Install this one, apply. So this out the way. Uh, Let me close this. And now I'm going to add the connection string uh, for uh, for our database SQL Server. So I'll open the app settings.json, and I'll remove this allowed host. And to save the time, I just have already copied the string and I pasted here. So let me explain this. So this is going to be default connection key. You can name whatever you like. By convention, this is what it be used. It will be used as default connection, and a server is going to be this. So the rest of the uh, string will be same except this server name and the database name. You can, if you are following me, you can leave it as it is, employees data or whatever the database you want to create. You name that here. The server details, the server connection details is here. So you find this information. If I open my server here, uh, this is a SQL Server Management Studio. You click on this connect and click on the database engine. And over here, you see this your server name. So you copy that and paste it here for that server name. Now I'll create the models class here, models folder here. Let me right click on the root folder and click on add new folder. I will name this as models. Inside the model, I'll create another folder. Right click on the models, add a new folder. I name this as entities. Inside the entities, I'll right click on this entities folder. I create a class inside the entities folder. I will name this class as employees. Employee details .cs and add. So I have the code copied to save the time. I'll just paste it here in the employee details class. All the fields that are required for this demonstration. So this is going to be a global unique ID auto-generated by the database. So that's why I have the type as GUID. And this is the field required. So for your organization, you may have some fields that's required. That means the user has to uh, send these values in the input request. So these are the required fields. So I created two fields, first name and last name as required, and the email as option. So you mark that as with the question mark, and it's a string type. And so this is the entity class. It's named as employee details. Now I will create a application database connection class. So for that, I will create a data folder. I right click on the root of the project and add new folder. I will name this folder as data folder and right click on the data folder to create a new class. I'll click on add. And I will click on the class to create a new class. I will name this class as application DB context. Application DB context. Application DB context. Okay, I'll click on add. Okay, this is added. So over here, um, I'll create a constructor, CTOR. That's the shortcut to create a constructor and then enter. So in the constructor, I will add this instance of context options. So I create the instance of this DB context options and base options. And then I will, after creating this constructor, I will create a DB set, public DB set, and here I will get this from employee details and name this as employee. This is going to be employee details, and get and set. Control S to save, and it's giving me errors. So maybe, let me check. Let me build this. Rebuild application. So basically, it's giving me error because the namespace details is missing. So it's not recognizing this because here I need to mention that I need to import that employee database models entities. That's where the employee details class resides. So using employee database dot models dot entities colon, control save. Okay, see, that's gone now. And for this base options, okay, here it extends DB context. So that is why I'm getting this error. So let me DB context. So Control S save. The error is gone now. Now I will create a DTO class under models. So I'll right click on models and add class. This is going to be add employee DTO class .cs class and click add, saying item names cannot be. Oh, I have two dots. Let me remove one dot. Add employee DTO class. Okay. So I have data copied. So here I'm going to have the same fields from the employee details class, but I have named a little bit different so that we don't expose the fields like first name, uh, as we have in this employee uh, details class. So as a precaution, we don't expose these variables to the user. That's why in the detail class, I have named this as uh, uh, fname, lname, and email. And I'm getting an error because it's supposed to have models. So this has the models, and but it needs the entity framework. I'm not sure why it did not add it by default using Microsoft.AspNetCore.http results, and I also need using entity framework Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore control save add employee DTO. That's correct. And there is here, and also public class employee DTA, and then this is the uh, I think the error is employee add employee member names cannot be the same as their enclosing type. I will just rebuild this. So there is a expected uh, braces. So maybe I need to remove one. Oh, it says expected, so I might have to add one more braces. Okay, I see. When I pasted these fields, I think I have class twice. This is why the issue is. So let me remove this, and now it should resolve. Okay, so this class is done. Now I will create another DTO class that's for update employee DTO. So I'll right click on this models and add class. This class is going to be update employee. Update employee DTO. Update employee DTO. Add, click on the add, and then this will create another class. So over here, uh, need some fields. Basically, need the same fields that I had in add employee DTO class. So because when we updating, uh, uh, creating the update class or endpoint in controller, this class will be used. So I just copy paste the same fields here, and now we need to create a context, db context in program files. So let me open the program files. So controller class, program.cs file is open. So right below this builder.service open API, I will register database context here. Text. So that will be builder.services dot add db context and this is going to be for application db context, and so in this we need to have options so that and use options.sql to create a connection, use option.use SQL. This is supposed to be lambda arrow, and then this should be use SQL server. So I'll do this in another line. It's going to be small. Options.use SQL server. Then builder configuration, get connection string. So I'm going to get the connection string that was named as default connection string. So let me copy from what do you call app settings file. So this is the name of the default connection string. This is the name. So I'm going to copy and paste it here. And there are some brackets I'm missing, closing brackets. So now this is giving use SQL Server errors. So builder services add db context application context server. Okay, control save and it's gone. So I'll run this application now. Some build errors saying that source word cannot be found, employee details. So this error is coming from employee details class. Let me go back to employee details class here. And this is the problem here. Somehow this is okay. When I copy and pasted this thing, copied from the other class. So let me remove that. Now this should be fine. Let me run the program again. So it started. Let me open the browser and refresh this. So there is no error. So now we have the open API, but if I try for copy this, and if I try for Swagger /index.html, so there's no Swagger here. So next I'm going to implement the Swagger So we can have a Swagger uh, in the in the browser, and we can see the endpoints for the Swagger. So let me go back to the uh, program.cs file and implement the code for this. For the Swagger, let me add OpenAPI dependencies right here, program.cs. So above this DB context, I will add Swagger. Swagger implementation begin. Swagger implementation end. So this is the block. I will be adding the Swagger dependency. I mean configuring the Swagger. So builder.services dot add endpoint API Explorer semicolon, and now variable XML file name and in this quotations system dot assembly dot get executing assembly dot, I need the get name here, so get name dot name dot xml xml, I mean, and this is the end. So this is out of the way. So this will create the Swagger configuration XML. Variable X file name is going to be system okay executing assembly. Okay, it's gone now. Okay, so this is for this, and now need to do the options to include XML. Options dot, options we should give it the option to include so let me do the include first. Include XML comments path dot combine and app context dot base directory, the XML file name, XML file name. So, and after this is done, I'll need to add the Swagger in the development environment. So app.use Swagger UI. So once that is done, we should work. Here, let me create the options, and the Swagger endpoint. So we need takes two arguments. The first one will be /open API v1.json, and the second one you can customize as you wish. So I'll just say Swagger v1, and Control save, edit. Now there is an error. So there is the problem here. I can see over here I have two brackets. I'm sorry, here I need to have a bracket, open bracket here. So that's what I'm missing. And then I need to close this bracket here. But that's the issue. Now here, so let me make sure I have all the brackets correctly placed here. So use Swagger UI options. The bracket open is here, and so this is the curly braces, and this is the ending braces. Oh, I need the semicolon here. Control save. Another error. What is this error now? It says the option not exists in the current context. So the error is the name option does not exist. So it's not recognizing the options. So let me, oh, this is the one. So here, I need to, because options is not global, so it's not able to find that option. So I need to say builder dot services dot add Swagger Gen, and then options here, options, and I need to close this. So variable XML. Oh, I need to open curly braces opened. So now this should be fine. So let me stop this and run this. So now it is giving the user unhandled exception. This is because I need to enable XML generation in Visual Studio. So let me go to the root folder, project folder, and then right click and select properties. And once this open, I need to go to the build and output section of this. So find the output here. Output is here, I mean. So in the output, uh, so this need to be checked. Generate a file containing API documentation. Once this is checked, and this should work. So let me close this and stop and run this again. So it ran okay with no errors. Now let me check in the Explorer. So earlier the Swagger endpoint did not work. So I will just refresh this and I should have a Swagger. Oh, good. So here is the Swagger and there is only one endpoint, that is weather forecast. Uh, so I'm going to add the rest of the endpoints and then uh, we'll test it in this browser again. So let me open the Visual Studio and controller. In the controller, I need to add the class. So I'll right click on the controllers folder and add, click on the add. I need to stop this uh, program first. So I stopped it. Now let me right click on the controller, add, and add controller. Okay, so I'll name this. So you need to select API here, then leave the API controller, uh, select this option, API controller empty, and add. And you need to give the name for this API controller. So I'm going to name this as, since this is employee details, so I'll just name as employees controller. So you can name anything as long as it is suffixed with the controller.cs. So I click on the add. So this class is created now. So I have the methods already created for the endpoints. I'm just going to paste here. So I'll just control save. And it's giving me error right now. Uh, because I probably have copied everything. So let me copy just the methods itself and paste it here. It's employees controller. So the first method will be first I need to create a constructor. So this is the constructor for the controller. It's going to take the application DB context and create the instance of the DB context. Then let me create the HTTP method to get method. So I'll paste it here. So I'd rather create a post method first, so that way we can post some data and then we can use the get method to get the data. So to do that, I have to create an HTTP post method. So this is the post method, and we can access this through the Swagger. Okay, let me run this. So it's the program started. So let's go to the uh, browser, and here we should see the post endpoint we just created in the controller. Let me refresh this. Here's the post controller. But it won't post anything in the database yet because it need to run the migrations. So if you look at the database, and if I connect to this database, so it's connecting now. So it's connected, and if you open the databases, we expand this, is only employee data, employees data is here. This is from my previous implementation. So when I created a project earlier, this is from that project. So I'm going to delete this. Now there is no employee data. So there's no employee database. Uh, Let me go back to the Visual Studio Code, and here we have the employee database in our app settings connection. So this need to be created through the migrations. To run the migrations, I need to go to the package manager console and run two commands: add migration command and update database. So if you look in this folder structure on the right side, there is no migration folder. So once I run those commands, that will create the migration folder, and it has the migration inside that folder. So let me do that. So I need to open the package manager console, uh, go to the tools, NUGET package manager, and package manager console. And here, run the command. Okay. The first command is add migration. And you can name anything. I'll name this as initial migration, because this is the first time it is migrating for this project. So wait for it to complete. Do you want to stop? Yeah, I need to stop. Yes, because while it's debugging, uh, it cannot run this command. So let me go back and do the same thing. Tools, NuGet Manager, Package Manager Console. So it gave me some errors here. The running command will stop because, so this is the error. And warning, detected package version outside the dependency constraint 6.02. So this version is somehow, I believe it has reference to older version, even though while creating a project and I installed this dependency for version 10. So I should go back to this .cs project folder. It's a good experience that uh, in organization, if you get this kind of issue while running migrations, then look for the versions. So here I see some incompatible versions. So entity framework is 6.0.8. So well, this should be actually similar to the other ones, 10.0.6 or 10.0.0 at least. So let me change this to 10.0.0. And what else? There is 6.0 version here. All this 10 points, 10.0.0. The rest looks okay. And okay, so control save. I'll run the migrations again. So build failed. Let me check again. I will build it and run the migrations. So let me rebuild. Right click, rebuild. Still getting this build failed, even though changing this to version compatible version. I think the latest frameworks are not using the entity framework. Uh, let me remove that. So I will go to the package manager console and then uninstall this. Install package meta framework entity. So I'll copy this and paste it here. So that's gone. Let me run the run migrations command again. This is succeeded, so I run another command to update this database. So update database. Once this is done, then our database should have this newly created database and the table, employee table. So this is completed successfully. Let me open the database and refresh this and open this. Refresh this database. Here is the employees data, and we should have a table. So it's created the employee details table as well. That's our entity class. So it's mapping to the database here. Now let's continue with our Swagger testing for the post method. Uh, for that, uh, okay, here, this is our Visual Studio Code. If you notice, after running these commands, as I mentioned earlier, there is a migration folder that opened. So in here, this is the initial migration we ran. So as you can see here, it created the initial migration and it created the mappings for columns and tables. It created the table, uh, uh, SQL query for creating this table. Next, now we can test it. So let me start our project. Let me run this. Now refresh. So we should be able to test now. Let me bring this back to the site, and also so we can see side by side. Uh, so here is the post, and try this out. So let me name this fname1 or fn1, or last name. I can say this first name 1, and the last name will be lname1, ln1. String will be some email at email.com. So right now we have no users in the employee details table. To verify, you can run the SQL query uh, on the employees data. So I click on the new query in SQL Server Management Studio, and I'll run the I'll write the query now. Select ID, ID, and the first name. So this is what we have fields in our employee details table in our entities class. Last name, email, from, employees details dot dbo dot employees employee details, semicolon, ID, first name, last name, email, from employee details. Why is giving me the error? Invalid object name. From oh, this is employee data. So the database name is employee data, and the table name is employee details. So select ID, first name, last name, first name, last name, email, from employees data, S, employees data. Okay, now it's fine. So let me execute this. So there is no data here. Once we ran this post method, we should have this user over here. So execute. Okay, this is executed. No errors, 201, and connection is 200. Okay. So let me refresh this, or let me run this query again. Now we have the user. We have the ID created by the system, and the first name, last name as fn1, ln1, and the email that we gave here, some email at email.com. Let me create another user as new employee, the first name, or I can say something like example, first name fn, example, last name ln, and example at email.com. So let me execute this query. So this ran okay. Let me execute the query here. So we have two users now. Now we will go back to our controller class and create the other methods to fetch the get methods. So let me open the controller class. Here we have a post method currently, and we need to implement the get method. So I have right here http get means square bracket, and over here, so I'm going to create this method, this is going to be endpoint to IA action result to fetch all, get all employee details. So this is the gonna return OK response once it's fetched from connecting to DB context. Dot employee details dot to list, because it's going to be more than one employee. Control S to save. And now before I test this in the Postman, I want to show you something. We're getting all these errors because we implemented the Swagger. So once you implement the Swagger, you need to have some data to let the let the Swagger know that there is no data available. So in our case, we have nothing here, but I can show you, for example, um, uh, how to uh, suppress these warnings. Uh, and also, if you see this, for instance, in our class, one of the class, for example, just so you know what I'm talking about, uh, this example is showing the error is saying missing XML comment for publicly visible type member. So since we have a Swagger implementation, we should add some comments so it will be visible over here. Right now, if you look at the HTTP GET request, there's no comments here. For example, even over here, employee details is giving the post method is giving some same comments like missing XML comment for publicly visible type or member for this controller. So to address this issue for the warning, because we need to add some comments here with 3 lines, 3 slashes like this. So it's auto suggesting me this suggestion. So if I leave this right here and control save, see the warnings has gone. So now you will see these comments uh, on the post method uh, of your Swagger implementation. If you look at here now, there is nothing here. But once I refresh this, the new comments what we going to add here is going to show up. So for summary, I can say a comment like this endpoint add employee data to the database. So now if I control S save, and then if I go back to the here, if I refresh it on the post method, you will see that comments. So now if you go to the post method, Okay, here should be the comment. Try. Let me refresh this. Post. I need to probably rebuild this. So let me stop and rebuild this. But you can see that this warning has gone. Now there is a warning for this method. If I add those similar comments here, that that warning will be gone. Same thing with the controller class. I can add these same warnings, same thing, just the summary for this controller class, and add that this is a controller class for uh, endpoints to add data to employee database. So control save. So now you see it's gone. If I remove this, you see the warnings is appear here. So now let me add those comments back. The warning is gone. So those are the Swagger warnings. I just want to show this. Now I restarted this. Let's go back to this and refresh it again. And there should be these comments shows up here. Should let me make this. So the reason for this, because it has this extra slash here. Let me fix this. Let me remove this and add this. Control save. So this is how it should be. The, the for the closing summary, it should be with this slash right here. I had it here. That's why it wasn't working. Hopefully, it will work now. Let's go back to this Swagger and refresh it and check the post method. And still not showing. So I will rebuild. I'll stop this, rebuild again. And let's see. Okay, now let me run this. It started now. I think I need to fix the Swagger endpoint in a program.cs file where I have mentioned this OpenAPI v1 JSON. Rather, I should say Swagger here. Let me try to say Swagger v1 Swagger.json, Control S, save, and let me see, refresh this, and for the post. Okay, as you can see, the comments are showing up here. The employee data to be added, this endpoint adds database. So these are the comments that that's that we added in our employee controller right here. So these the comments is showing up. So those are the warnings. Because of that is showing up the warnings. I just want to highlight that so that you know. So when you implement Swagger, if you don't have these comments, it will show you those warnings. If you don't want to add comments, then ignore those warnings. And back to our this endpoint. So now we're gonna test our get endpoint right here. So as you can see, This is the get endpoint we implemented. So it should give 2 employees here. Try it out, execute. So the 2 users should show up. So it's giving error. Let's see what is causing this issue. So this is not the code issue. I think what happened was when I changed uh, into program CS to this endpoint, so I need to do the same here. I need to run uh, this. I need to match this with the browser here. So instead of index HTML, I need to do the Swagger. This is the one. So let me try with this Swagger Swagger v1 Swagger.json. Okay. I think because we have multiple methods and the Swagger index HTML is working. So if I run this, and the reason I'm getting this error because I have multiple get methods. Uh, the fix should be uh, making the methods unique so that there is no ambiguity between those methods. So to do that, for the get method, I can just add something like details. For example, this get method right here in the controller class, employees controller class. Here, since there is 2 get methods, one is for weather forecast, and I have one for here. So I will mark this as all employee details. I'll just mark this as all. So this means it will get all the employees. So just wait for this to finish. Okay. And open the browser. So now we know this is the endpoint saying all. So this way, let's try again. Execute. Again, getting the same error. Okay, so the get method is the issue is something in the controller. Okay, this the one. Need to have after list you need this brackets, open and close brackets, control save. Okay, it's gone now. So let's try again and refresh this. Let me send the get employees all tried, execute. Good. So we got the 2 employees. The bracket was the issue. Similarly, I will do other methods in controller. So to save time, I will just copy the method and paste it here, right below this. So this is the put method, and I created this as version 2 for the endpoint. So if we have more put methods, so just to make it unique from the other methods, and then it takes the ID, type ID, GUID, and it takes the input as employee uh, data. So I created the employee DTO class. So as you remember earlier, so the data comes from employee data. So we're going to get the employee details and set it into the employee variable from the employee details class. And if employee is null, then return not found. And then if the employee has first name is null or white space, then employee first name equals to f name, whatever it is existing. So similarly for the others, if it is null or white space, then it won't update that field. So it only updates the field that has some data. So Control S, save these changes, and let me open the Swagger, refresh. So it's already here, the put endpoint v2. So let me test this out. For this, let me copy one of this ID, the first one, copy and try it out and put in here. And I'll just change first name to, currently it is FNN. I'll just put XXX, and the rest I'll leave it blank. So only it will update, it should update the first name, and the rest should be as it is. That's the expectation. So let me execute. So right now this says 200 OK response, and it has updated the first name, the rest is same. So let's run this query in a database, and you can see it's only updated the first name. The rest two columns are same. Okay, now now I will add the delete method here. So this is the HTTP delete, and it will take the ID, the unique ID, and delete that user from the database. If the employee is null, then it will return no, not found. If it is not, it will send OK response, and it will say employee deleted successfully. Control S, I save this now. Now test this out in our Swagger. So this is updated. So we have the delete endpoint now, and this is the database. Let me delete the first, copy this ID. It takes the ID, try it out, put the ID in here, and execute. It says deleted successfully. So let me run this query in a database. See, the user deleted. Now, I want to show you this can be used in a Postman. This Swagger API is very helpful. It will give you the endpoint. So anyone who is using your API, they already have the endpoint ready to use. So I just, since this last part is ID, that's the user input, we deleted this ID. I'm not going to copy that. I'll just copy that the request up to the employees, and I will use this in the Postman, and then I'll use this ID to delete this user from the database. So let me open the Postman and show it to you how this works in the Postman. The Postman is opened. The request will be delete. And this is the endpoint that I got it from the Swagger. I'm going to copy this ID and paste it here. And now let me send the request. Send the request. And here, send. Saying 4, not 4. Okay, because this user, let me run the query here again. The user exists, but getting the error. I'll copy this again, paste it here, and Let me send this again. It's giving 404 error. Okay, I think this is the endpoint that having issue with. So let me check the endpoint, make sure copy the right endpoint for the delete API employees HTTP API employees. Oh, so I copied the wrong one. It should say delete. I don't know how I copied that one. So anyway, this is the endpoint employees delete. So the delete should is missing here. After delete, after employees, it should be delete and /. Now I send the request. So it's deleted successfully. And let's look at the database. Let me run this query. So you see there is no users exist. So this application is working as expected. So this is how you create the REST APIs in ASP.NET Core Web API framework. I hope everything was clear. If any questions, please ask me in the comment. Thank you.